I knew something was wrong when a little pretty white girl ran to a black man's arms.
Girl number 9. Mutant Pussy Christina Aguilera girl. Date, September 2000. Age, 19. Height, 5 feet 6 inches. Weight, 95 pounds. Hair, blonde and long. Eyes, blue. It was a Sunday in September 2000. I picked her up at the ferry dock a couple of days after we had met online in a now closed-down chat room. She was the second and the last girl I met in those old chat rooms. I think we talked on the phone a couple of times too, but those conversations were brief because I wasn't really interested in getting to know her. I knew enough. She was more than excited to meet me. Mind you, I hadn't even shown my photo to her. I didn't see a picture of her either, but she described herself and I figured she couldn't be that bad. So, I made plans to go pick her up and told her she could stay the night if she wanted to. Before meeting, I had already done the necessary talking about sex with her, so I knew if she still wanted to stay, then fucking was pretty much on the table. The thing is, I am charming. I drove about an hour to get to the ferry dock. She walks off the ferry, a skinny girl with perfect straight long hair and a backpack. She had the long blonde hair that looked like the 2000-era Christina Aguilera that I loved. She actually wasn't ugly at all. But my friend gave her the Aguilera nickname at the time because she was a cheap version of Christina. So we walk up to each other and I gave her a hug to make us both feel a little more comfortable and to get the touching going. We exchanged our hellos and proceeded to my car. I took her to dinner at some crap-ass restaurant by the mall on the way home. We ate and talked a bit. Unfortunately, this slut was one of those girls that have a really dumb voice. If you have ever seen the Seinfeld episode, The Burning, Season 9, Episode 16, you would have an idea of her voice. In the episode, Jerry calls his girlfriend Sophie, but she doesn't recognize that it's him. She thinks he's another friend and discusses her secret tractor story. Jerry realizes that she thinks that he is someone else and begins talking in this goofy voice to sound generic. Anyways, that was her voice. Watch the episode. Even though her voice was intolerable, I reminded myself that I wasn't looking for another relationship, so it made it easier not to throw her out of my car. I just let the dull stoner, I am boring voice go for now. After we ate, we drove an hour back to my house, which was far away from any civilization. Don't ever buy a house with a girl you don't like, and get stuck with the dumb house. Actually, don't ever buy a house with a girl you don't like, far away from everybody on the fucking planet. We arrived at my house and went directly into my bedroom. There wasn't really anything else to do at my house, since girl number 7 took everything from the house when she fled. I think she left me a couch. But I didn't want to sit on the couch, staring at this girl, because that would mean I would have to talk to her. Which would mean I would have to hear her voice. I suggested a movie. I still had a TV in my room. I don't even remember what we watched, or didn't watch. I just remember fucking. I would say it was maybe like 15 or 20 minutes and I had my dick in her. Before the insertion, I went down on her. Now listen, at that time I had licked and sucked many pussies in my life. But, this one was new to me. I'm not sure if there are a lot of girls out there with this thing I will tell you about, or if I just found the one mutant pussy in the universe. I'll get back to that in a moment. So, she was very tight. One of the tightest girls I have ever humped, if not the tightest girl in the world over 18. Complete with a small ass, small boobs, and a very slim and sexy overall body. We rolled around fucking for a while. When it was over, we watched the movie. The sex was good. Although she was quiet, she winced and groaned. Later we took a shower together and we fucked in there, and then back in the bed. The next day I had to go to work. I told her that I could drop her off at the dock, or she could stay at my house and wait for me to come home. She wanted to stay. So, she stayed for over a week. She had brought a few clothing articles in her backpack including underwear, a bra, and a shirt or two. I think she knew she was staying a while, or just hopeful. Mostly she walked around half naked or in my clothes for the days she was there. Then there were her damn pants. She had one pair of silvery pants. That's all she wore the whole time I knew her. I don't think she had other pants, just these shiny club pants that were actually big on her. The girl was a less than size 0. I guess maybe she couldn't find any fucking pants. She cooked one meal for me in that week and fucked me every night. The night she cooked, she made a tuna casserole. I was almost impressed. Then I realized that she put olives in the casserole. Now, I like olives, but black olives in a tuna casserole seemed a bit immature. Besides her pasta inadequacies, it was nice having her around to use as a fuck doll. After a week or so, I told her I needed her to go away for a few days. She was sad because I think she wanted me to ask her to stay forever, and she liked my cock. She was one of those people who didn't really have anything. No job, not a lot of friends. She still lived with her parents, but I don't think they cared much, either did I. So I dropped her tight ass off at her little ferry dock, so she could take the boat back over to her side of the water. There was a way to just drive 90 minutes around the peninsula and over a bridge to drop her off. But who would really want to drive with her that long? Especially with that voice. I remind you, the less this girl gets to speak, the better. I went about my life for a few days and found myself yearning for her malformed vagina. Let me return to my story about her abnormal mutant pussy. I'm not talking about a clit that is really fat or big. And I am definitely not talking about that little penis thing that I saw on some website that women can get who do steroids. This girl had a string-like gummy worm flap of skin. I would suck on it, pull it, and chew it. It was bizarre. It came from the top of her pussy and went down on the side. I think maybe she could put it into herself if she wanted to. Maybe this is a new kind of girl that doesn't need a man. She can just insert her own artificial penis. No man needed, therefore not having to worry about when her ass will be dropped off at the ferry dock again. I fetched her back to my house. In fact, she came over many times over the next month. I went on with my sexual explorations and brought her to my house and between girls. Then she started weighing on me. I tried not to let her weird extras get to me. I ignored them because she had a tight pussy. But, she was just losing her prestige, if she had any to begin with. And I was tiring of the wormy cunt leech. I already had to deal with the voice, the pants, and the excess hair. Oh, did I forget to mention the hair? Not the sexy natural blonde hair on her head that accentuated her gorgeous blue eyes. We're talking about deviant body hair. Women should never have hair around their cunt, their nipples, their lip, or under chin. Got it? At all. Ever. She was mostly shaved down below, but for some reason she decided it was okay to have a landing strip. Now, I have seen landing strips that were done without offending anyone. But let me tell you of this one. She had a rectangular box right above her pussy. Tolerable sometimes, right? Yes, but not when the hair is like 3 inches long. I will sometimes forgive a girl who doesn't know how to use a razor completely. But there is no forgiving the girl if she lets that little patch grow so it looks and feels like the hair on one of those troll dolls we had when we were kids. It had a mind of its own and it was getting in the way. It started competing with my pecker on who wanted the pussy more. I had to lick my hand and stroke back the hair so it would stay out of the way when I was going down there to visit my salamander clit friend. It was just plain strange. And then there were her nipples. She had hair stubble around her nipples. That is all I am going to say about that. I will leave that one alone. Throughout my excursions with this girl, I had been introduced to many different visions. From the olive-laden casserole, to the constant club pants. All of those things, although completely unacceptable, pale in comparison with chin hair. We are talking about visible chin hair. Not just simple peach fuzz hair on the chin, but big heavy thick blonde chin hair. Why did I not notice the hair before? Maybe I didn't spend much time looking at her and kissing her face. Maybe I always knew it was there, but I was just embarrassed for her. I figured she would wax them, pluck them, or hire the Italian mafia to just make them disappear. But they stayed. And like their follically challenged friends from her landing strip, they just seemed to keep growing. How could I keep fucking this girl who had all of these issues? And to top it off, she wanted me to be her boyfriend. I saw her a couple of more times to see if she might have fixed her problems, so I could keep fucking her. She hadn't. It was now late October 2000 and I thought it was time to move on. I had just become single months prior. There were more girls to explore. She was too much trouble to get back and forth and I didn't want her staying over all of the time. After screwing a final time I decided to end things. She cried as I told her that we would never be together. She pleaded and begged for me not to forget about her. She even said, "Will you please be my boyfriend?" In reply, I wanted to quote the Three Little Pigs and tell her, "Not by the hair of your chin." I then dropped her ass off at the dock and told her to lose my number. I figured I might miss my distorted crotch lizard, but it gave me a new quest. I would now search the world for another girl who had one. In February 2001, while dating girl number 17, I contacted her again. I went and picked her up and took her to my new home to fuck. She still had all of the unbearable issues. While humping, I could even smell a pussy stench drifting out of her. I only spoke to her one more time briefly on the phone to make sure she wasn't pregnant. That voice. Then I never saw her again. Thanks for watching and listening, you magnificent bastards. Please subscribe and click on notifications. You will be watching and hearing each one of my sex stories, so you won't want to miss any. In the future the stories will become animated and not as basic. When that happens, each story will be redone and posted in order. But for now, please enjoy.
Yeah, give away. Yeah, give away. My neighbor got big testicles, cause we see this dude every day.